back to MotherToSonCooking.com. Today we're going to make the meatloaf. This morning we had a nice little breakfast. I pulled the meat out. Over here, this is the vegetables going in the meatloaf. I got a little chopped Italian parsley, some finely grated onions, a little bit of bell pepper, and a little bit of celery. Now I'm going to make a sauce with this, and I cut all this stuff up. You can see a lot of onions, carrots, bell pepper, and celery. Plus over here I've got some canned whole stewed tomatoes. I don't like the chopped ones, they taste different. I like the whole ones, I like to chop them myself. And we've got a little bit of tomato sauce that we're going to put in it to make the sauce that goes over the top. Now for the meatloaf over here, I've got about 4 pounds of hamburger. I've got about 5 slices of bread and about a cup and a half of milk. That's going to kind of moisten it up. I've got some panko bread. I don't like just using nothing but the bread. I like to give it a little crunch. Panko seems to do it. A little salt, a little pepper. I don't use a lot of spices in this. I just put a dash to give it some taste. We got a little accent. One of my favorites, Slap Your Mama. There's some garlic salt, a little bit of seasoning oil, and mix my spices. I've kind of hand done it in there. You can see there's a little bit of spice, but I don't like too much. Now when it comes to the vegetables too, I don't like too much. I may not use them all. I'm going to kind of see it because I don't want the vegetables to overbear the meat. I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Then I'll come back in and I'll add my bread that's in the milk and the panko, which I like the panko, makes it a little bit crunchier. And out of this, we're just having a small dinner. I'm going to make 2 or 3 meatloafs out of this. When I do stuff, next couple of weeks, I'll want another meatloaf and I'll pull it out of the freezer. As you can see, I didn't use all the vegetables. I'm looking at it. I don't want too much vegetables in, but I do want to add a little bit for flavor and the thing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and pour in my milk and bread, and we're going to mix that up. And I'll come back and then we'll add the panko. I've added the bread and the milk. I poured off a lot of the milk. I want it moist, but I don't want it where it's soggy. So now we're going to come in and add the panko on it into the mixture. I'll probably put that in the ice box, and then I'm going to come back and start my sauce that goes over the top. Now I'm about ready to make the sauce that's going to go on top of the meatloaf. I've got about 3/4 of onion, about 1 bell pepper, about 2 carrots, and a little bit of celery cut up. Over here in a pan, I got a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter. I'm going to saute the vegetables up. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to pour the chopped tomatoes, a little tomato sauce, add some spices. Alright, I've got all my ingredients is mixed up for my meatloaf. The only thing other that I'm going to do is when I make up I'll probably make up 3 loaves. And I'll put, on this particular one, I'm going to put a little bacon around it to give it a little bit more flavor. Once the sauce gets done, I'll put a little bit of sauce on it, and we'll cook it in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours. We want to get it well done, well firmed, but you'll need to check it then. So we've got the meatloaf done. It's going to go in the icebox hour and a half before we're going to eat. Before I'm going to cook it and then we'll eat, but I need to get my sauce to the top of the meatloaf going. Vegetables on the stove, which is called sweating them out. They cook just a little better in a sauce if you do that. This sauce goes on many different things I found. I'm going to make, I'll use a can of tomato sauce in it. Put that in. I'm going to probably put about half of the tomatoes in it. That should be enough. That I'll put in a little mason jar. I'm going to add the spices. Then we'll put it on the stove, let it cook for an hour and a half. That should get me to about 4:35, and I'll get the meatloaf in the oven and everything will come out at once. My seasoning, I put a couple tablespoons of basil in, a couple tablespoons of oregano on it, a little celery salt, a couple bay leaves, and I added about a cup of water to it because it's going to cook down thicken up. Come back in and take the meatloaf and put it in these little pans like this that actually freeze very well. I made one nice big meatloaf. I've wrapped it in bacon. I've kind of molded it. And again, we'll put it in the oven probably in here about 30 minutes. Now we'll come over here, and you can see we're starting to get a nice boil on the sauce that goes over top. What we're going to do for the sides on it, I got some fresh green beans. We're going to kind of boil those up. I got a little bit of new potatoes over. I'm going to boil them up, put cream on it to kind of keep them. Finished product for the meatloaf with the bacon on top. I always like to cook it on this little pan right here. That way the juice doesn't drips down and it doesn't kind of soggy up the meatloaf. And then, you know, my little sauce over here. You can use that almost anything. The final product, we've got the beans that I basically boiled and put them in butter. Little olive oil, steamed them up, the mashed potatoes. There's the meatloaf chopped up. There's the meatloaf on top, and we got the sauce on top. Hope you make this soon.